Alright guys, after I get my handles cut to shape, I'll drill one side of my scale to match the holes I have in my knife tang. Well, then I'll drill one hole, I'll put a sacrificial pin in. I'll do the second hole, put a sacrificial pin in. And then I'll come back and I'll drill this hole. And now all three holes are all lined up, as well as lined up with the tang. Now you see I've got a little bit of trim mark I got to do here yet. Still got to blend all this out. And what I'll end up do here is I'll sand this and get this 100% ready, this edge, closest towards the blade itself. 100% ready for tongue oil. And then I'll get ready to start sanding everything, getting it prepped and getting it ready to put on handle. I'll kind of walk you through it. Alright, I got the pins checked. Make sure the pins would go fit in and out of my holes on the handle and on the scales. You can see that. I got that sanded down to 400 grit. So that's ready to take a coat of polyurethane, or I'm using boiled linseed oil. So now that that's ready, I don't have to get back in there when it's on the handle. It's on the knife. I don't have to get it back in there and try to sand that out so tight. So you can see I've kind of got them shaped where I want them. They're rough sanded, rough shaped out. Once I get everything done, I'll have the scales installed. I'll have glue, and then I'll start sanding them out, completing them out by hand. So the next thing I do is I take my Dremel and I'll add some glue grooves, or grooves to grab the for the epoxy to grab to. So for the epoxy to grab onto, I'll do the same thing to the scales. There's one. Two. So now that I've got some grooves cut into it, the epoxy will stick. Now what I've mixed up is some Brownell's air glass. It's got a phenomenal life on it, something like 50 years. It's also a 2-part 50-50 mix, which I like. I don't like to do the 3-to-1 stuff. It's a slow curing. It's 24-hour. And that's what you want. You want something that's going to last a long time. Setup. The longer the setup, like a 24-hour set time, the better the glue tends to be, and the longer you'll get out of the glue on your knife scales. They'll last longer. You don't have to worry about them coming off. Now, when it's all said and done, just before I get done hand sanding, I'll peen the pins over to kind of help with the glue, and the glue helps the peening. And then next is acetone. You want to get as much as that grease off of there as you can from your fingers, and quench oil and cutting oil from drilling the holes. Get everything cleaned out. undo the pins as well. Every little bit helps. Okay. Now the other glue I'll use will be the West Systems. So this one's clear. I use it for some projects. And this one here's got a slight brown tint. It comes with a darker brown tint you can add to it if you'd like. I like this color. It seems to fill in the voids in the wood, more wood color, and blends and looks good with the eye. Next I'll take the scales. I lost that one. Scale. Kind of the boring part here, really. What? Oh. Lap. There's two. Now on the scale, doesn't need to be as heavy, or on the handle, it doesn't need to be as heavy due to the fact it's steel, and I've got most of that bedded in on that. Covered. I'll pick up the right scale. This is a nightmare on a 5-minute epoxy. If any of you guys done this with 5-minute epoxy, this is just an absolute nightmare to do. I like adding a little bit of glue to my pins before I put them in. That's one side. Coat this side. There's enough glue this time. I've done this with 5-minute epoxy. Man, I tell you what, really gotta be on point when you're doing a 5-minute epoxy, because that stuff sets up fast, and I like to take my time a little bit, make sure that I'm getting it done correctly. Side done. So we can't keep this from dropping. Nice. All those pins are through. Nice. Then I clamp it. Give it about a couple minutes with clamps on it, and then I'll check it to see if there's a spot that needs a little more pressure. If there is, I'll take this over to my zip here. I can tell that's not going to settle in tight, so I'll take it to my small 4-inch bench vise, and I'll just give it a little extra pinch to it. See, it's starting to ooze out a little bit. And that's not that bad. I wait for 2 or 3 hours. I let that start tack up, and I'll take a razor blade and I'll clean that off and check it. And then by morning, you'll see that inside there. By morning, I'll be able to go and start sanding this out. This is ready to ship out the door as soon as I sand it out. Clean this edge up, put a razor's edge on it, and then this one's ready to go. Alright, I hope that explains a little bit of how I do my scales. Hope that helps you guys out. Alright, have a great evening. Thanks.